I want to talk to Jesus Loves You, who's calling in from the UK. Jesus Loves You is a theist and wants to tell us that Christianity is not a religion. So if Christianity is not a religion, then what is it? And if you say it's a relationship, I might scream.
Okay, so I guess I would say something more than a relationship. I wouldn't say it's a religion, because when God first created man, and he didn't say, you know, he didn't create him. In fact, when God was planning to create man, he said, let us create man, and so that we can share the beautiful creation that he had made, and so that may fellowship with him. So he wanted to fellowship with man. And so it wasn't, he didn't say, let me create man so that they do this in order to get approval from me. And the whole story about the Bible, if you listen to a YouTube channel called it's Cross-Examined, it's Frank Turek. He's explaining how the whole Bible is kind of about redemption, how the story is centered around redemption, and the fact that we have to receive Jesus Christ is because redemption was lost in the first place. And
so let's talk about this. So God's intentions doesn't actually matter for what the definition of religion is, right? The fact that God intended to do something, I mean, there are other religions that don't worship the God of Christianity, and we still call those religions. So whatever God's intention was for his relationship with mankind, that doesn't exclude Christianity from being a religion in that sense. But you know, the term religion can be very broadly defined, and even in academic circles, there is debate as to what qualifies and what doesn't. So I'm less concerned with those technicalities on the details. I'm more concerned with, can we broadly define Christianity as a system of belief, as a religion? And I would say yes. If you believe in a God and you worship that God, I mean, that's a religion. That's what religion is to me at the end of the day, at least. There's this idea that Christianity has some sort of exceptionalism to it, and you see this in Islam, you see this in other religions too, because they want to avoid the sort of pitfalls that come with using the term religion, and I fully disagree with that. I fully discard that. How can you have the most amount of churches on earth, the most amount of worship services, so the most amount of people trying to convert others to what? A relationship? I mean, that's just playing with words at that point. It's a religion. I would say get over it and try to, you know, deal with that. But it's a religion. You cannot convince me that it's not. I wouldn't even know what it means to say Christianity isn't a religion. So.
Okay. My point. Thank you for that, and thank you for explaining. But from what you said, my point would be to say, I could say it is the truth. So Christianity. Okay,
but it can be a truth, but not, and also a religion. I mean, you can be both. You can do both. Porque no los dos.
Please, all right. Okay. Thank you for that. Okay. Yeah. May I please further say, if you say Christianity is a religion, it can't be a religion because, again, thank you for explaining that previous point. But compared to all other religions, you have to do something. So for some religions, you have to do something in order to get into heaven. For some religions, you have to do something in order to be in a better position in the next life. But for Christianity, some may argue and say that you have to receive Jesus Christ in order for you to enter into heaven, which they can say is part of religion. But please, let me explain. My explanation is that since the whole story is about redemption, meaning that it's not you have to do something from scratch zero, it's you restoring yourself. It's just like
is restoring myself doing something?
No, just to accept. It's a decision.
Okay, making a decision is doing something, right?
I'm not sure, but I could say.
Hey, whoa, wait, let me do this. Hey, Jesus loves you. Let me do this. And can I go to heaven right now? Yes or no?
No.
Okay, no, I can't go to heaven, right? I can't go to heaven. So in order for me to go to heaven, I have to what? I have to do something. Okay, so you do have to do something in order to go to heaven. So your point is invalid. No. I don't know what to tell you.
No. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you for explaining that. But may I please explain this? So the fact that you yourself, I just want to explain this to whoever is listening to this, but you, including the person who's listening, the lady, you guys, me as well, and all the other people, our natural state, when God created us, he said, let me create people in my own image. And he said, let me create them to share this earth. And our default position is not who we are now, but it's with God in heaven.
Okay, that doesn't. None of this. This is theology. No, I don't want to listen, because what does this have to do with whether or not? What does this have to do with whether or not it counts as a religion?
Please let me explain. Okay, thank you. Please let me explain that last point. Thank you for the question. Let me explain. What I'm trying to say is that because what Christianity is telling us is that our natural state is not who we are now. We are not. When we were created, we're not created to. How can I say it? Okay, when we were created, we were supposed to be right with him, and so because obviously the first person failed and it affects us all, we need to get back to that default position, which is with God, which is
with God, like you've explained this. Yes,
because hell wasn't created. Hell isn't for human beings, because human beings were created in God's image, and it's like God chose human beings of all things to be made in his own image, and so the default position for people, for human beings, is not in hell. And so when you accept Jesus Christ, it's not like you are trying to get somewhere, but you're just getting back to where you are defaultly made to be. That's what I'm trying to say. But thank you for letting me explain.
I hear what you're saying. Okay, so it's motivation that matters, is what it sounds like to you. Is the difference?
No.
Okay, then I don't know your point. I'm sorry. I've heard you repeat your theology.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't get that.
No, let me get this through. Because I've heard you repeat your theology. Okay, mankind is ultimately sinful. Hell is not made for human beings. We are meant to be in a one-on-one relationship with God, and Christianity is the act of restoring that relationship with God. Right? Okay, I get that. That doesn't mean it's not a religion. It's still a religion. Okay, that does not give you any special exemption from the rule that it isn't a religion, because it is a religion.
Okay, all right. Thank you for explaining that.
Yeah.
But it's not a religion, because for all the other people, they are doing something in order to get somewhere. So they're doing something.
And I have to do something to get somewhere. We've already established this. If I don't accept Jesus Christ into my heart and I die tonight, where am I going? I'm not going to heaven. So in order for me to restore that relationship, I have to do something.
All right, but your default position, you're not supposed to be in hell, but you're supposed.
Why does that matter? That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Because no, it's just like yourself. You've gone to work, and then you've left home, or let's just say you've left home, right, and you've gone to work, and you had a good day. You were working.
Oh. Okay, we are losing you here. Jesus loves you. We are losing you here. I'm gonna have to drop the call because we're getting some issues. But I feel like I've made my point pretty clear, right, Gayle? Like,
yeah, my question is, and I think we've let the caller go, but it might be something for the caller to reflect on: is what's the burr under your proverbial saddle about it being a religion? It's a religion. Yeah. It's not a big deal. Don't fight that so hard. Get on with the next thing. Okay, right. Is it also a relationship? Fine. Is it also default? Fine. Move on. But the fight over whether or not it's a religion is silly and wastes everybody's time.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, there's always going to be, again, these semantic debates on what qualifies or what doesn't. But if his definition is you have to do something to get somewhere, which I would not say is a good definition of religion, because There are religions where action isn't required to go to afterlife destinations. Then his qualification still fails because you have to do something to go somewhere in Christianity.
Restoring to the default is doing something.
Yeah.
Even if we accept the premise, whatever, something, you're not supposed to be in hell, whatever. Even restoring requires action. It requires doing something. So yeah, I agree.